The New Orleans Saints just flipped the script on their entire future. In one offseason, this team went from stale and predictable to fast, young, and dangerous. A franchise once stuck in quarterback limbo has now surrounded itself with speed at receiver, power on the line, and a clear plan for who leads the huddle. It feels like a reset button was finally pressed, and the ripple effects could change not only the Saints, but the entire NFC South race. Nobody expected New Orleans to move this quickly, but here we are, staring at a roster that looks nothing like the one that limped through last season. The shocking part is how many moves hit at once. Trey Palmer's blazing speed, Brandon Cooks returning for another chapter, and Devon Vele's size give this receiver room a new identity. Alvin Kamara remains the heartbeat of the offense, but now he's joined by Kendre Miller, who adds fresh legs behind him. Up front, the line was rebuilt around Kelvin Banks Jr. and Talis Fuaga, with Xavier Truss and Dylan Redunce shoring up the depth. After years of patchwork, the Saints have quietly built one of the most balanced offensive units they've had since Drew Brees walked away. Every piece feels intentional, like it's been placed to test one man. And that leads us to the mystery at the center of it all. The roster looks faster, tougher, and healthier, but none of it matters without the right quarterback steering the ship. The Saints have made their decision, and it has shocked even the loudest critics. Spencer Rattler is now QB1, and the real story is about to unfold. The question is simple but massive. Can Rattler finally rise into the role this team has been waiting for, or is Tyler Shuck one step away from taking his spot? That is where this story gets tense. But before we get into that, hit that like and subscribe button for more Saints and all the NFL content. Let's aim for 250 likes on this video. The New Orleans Saints just placed their future in Spencer Rattler's hands, and the clock starts right now. He is a second-year quarterback, not a rookie, and Kellen Moore is betting on his command, poise, and timing to unlock this offense. What nobody is talking about is how thin the line is between a breakout season and a pivot, and that razor edge is where Rattler now lives. This might change everything if he turns tight windows into routine throws and late downs into answers. Last year told a messy story, but it also hit a clue. Rattler was thrown in midstream for 7 games, finished with 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, and spent most weeks preparing like a backup. He did not get full first-team timing. His top targets were often in street clothes, and the plan around him shifted week to week. But here is the twist. Even with that smoke, you could see the habits that matter, the quick throwaways instead of risky hits, the pocket resets, the willingness to live for the next snap. Those small choices are the bones of a starter. Now the pressure is clean in public. In the preseason, he stacked rhythm with a 70% completion mark, 295 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, which shows efficient control more than empty stats. The question that keeps the building buzzing is not if the talent is real, it is how he holds it when the real rush comes, because one more layer of tension is waiting in the room. Tyler Shuck is the older rookie with tools and competitive fire, and his role is about to matter in a very real way. Nobody expected the New Orleans Saints to draft a quarterback who is older than the starter, but Tyler Shuck is here on purpose. He is a true rookie with a grown player's mindset, a second-round pick the staff believes can run an NFL huddle when called. The shock is not his age, it is how quickly he earned trust inside the building. He is not the backup you stash, he is the pressure that keeps standards high. His path built thick skin. Oregon lit the first spark, Texas Tech tested it through injuries, and Louisville let him close strong when the window finally opened. That journey taught him to reset fast and protect the football, which showed up in camp where his production nearly mirrored the starter, while the pace and reads still need polish. He split key reps with the ones, felt timing with Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, and learned how Alvin Kamara changes the picture the moment the ball is snapped. Now, the plan is simple and tense. Rattler gets the wheel, Shuck stays live in every install, and the next snap could change everything. What nobody is talking about is how much of his growth depends on the design around him. The right plan can hide rookie seams and turn simple throws into chain movers. So what does Kellen Moore draw up to make both quarterbacks play fast and clean without forcing it? That is where we go next. Kellen Moore is building an offense that looks simple to watch and brutal to defend. The surprise is not a giant playbook. It is the ruthless focus on tempo, motion, and clean reads that turn hard downs into routine work. Picture the snap count shifting, receivers sprinting across the formation, and the ball out before a rush can breathe. Defenses chase motion and lose their keys. Then a shot pops over the top when eyes get lazy. That is the trap, and it starts before the snap with alignment and cadence that keep the opponent guessing. The real edge lives in sequencing. Moore pairs the same formations with different runs and quick throws, then flips the picture with play action that looks identical until the last second. Backs press the line, tight ends sell run, and the quarterback turns with easy answers, flooding the flat or bending behind linebackers who just step downhill. Third down calls borrow from earlier looks, so the defense thinks it has the answer and walks right into a new one. Red zone plans lean on stacks and bunch sets that free releases without a fight, so timing survives when space tightens. Here is where the tension spikes. This system only hits top speed when the right people stack the right rolls at the right time. Which receiver stretches the field, who wins the dirty routes in traffic, and how the line ties it together decides if the Saints play fast or stall out. The next step is to place every piece with purpose, from wideouts to tight ends to the backs that punish light boxes. That is exactly what we map out next. The New Orleans Saints just turned their skill group into a pressure test for every defense they face. Chris Olave bends coverage with sharp routes. Rashid Shaheed rips the top off space. Brandon Cooks opens grass on timing breaks. Trey Palmer threatens with pure burst. And Devon Vele gives the quarterback a big frame in traffic. Alvin Kamara is still the tilt point who turns light boxes into first downs, while Kendre Miller brings fresh power that keeps the tempo alive. This is not a collection of names. It is a plan that stretches the field wide and deep until a safety blinks. Rolls tighten when the game gets hot. On early downs, quick rhythm to Olave and Cooks forces corners to tackle in space, then Shaheed and Palmer stress the seams when safeties creep. In the red zone, Vele and Juwan Johnson win body position, and Maliki Mataval sells run before slipping free. Screens and swings flow to Kamara to punish pressure, and Miller hammers short yardage so the pass menu stays hidden. Up front, Kelvin Banks Jr. works in tandem with Trevor Penning on combo fits, Eric McCoy calls the traffic, Cesar Ruiz climbs to backers, and Talis Fuaga sets an edge that buys the quarterback clean launch points. Asim Richards and Xavier Truss stabilize depth so protection rules never change when the bench steps in. But here is the twist that decides whether this machine truly hums. The offense can only keep its rhythm if the defense hands it short fields and extra chances. If Brandon Staley's group turns disguise into takeaways, the Saints play from in front and the full play sheet stays open. So, how does that side of the ball create momentum without giving up explosives? That is exactly where we go next. The New Orleans Saints defense under Brandon Staley is built on disguise and versatility, with Justin Reed directing the secondary, Julian Blackmon adding proven ball skills, and young corners Kool-Aid, McKinstry, and Alontae Taylor closing space quickly. Up front, veterans like Cameron Jordan, Carl Granderson, and Chase Young mix with rising talents Brian Bresee and Vernon Broughton to create a blend of power and speed, supported by linebackers Demario Davis and Pete Werner. The strategy is to win early downs, force long situations, and spring disguised pressures, but with only 3 takeaways last year, the unit must produce more turnovers. Depth will be tested over the season, with special teams captain JT Gray and other under-the-radar names poised to step in and potentially flip games when injuries strike. The NFC South is not sealed. The door is open just enough for the New Orleans Saints to push through if this new identity turns into wins. Rival teams have strengths and questions, which means momentum can swing week to week. The Saints have the speed to stretch fields and the brains to play on schedule, and that blend gives them a real shot to shape the race rather than chase it. The path is simple to say and hard to live. Own field position, finish drives in the red zone, and protect the ball when the fourth quarter gets loud. If the defense steals extra possessions and the offense cashes short fields, this team plays with a lead and forces opponents to adjust. The larger vision runs even deeper. A younger roster, a modern scheme, and a quarterback plan that does not strain the cap gives New Orleans room to keep building while competing right now. Your voice decides the next chapter. Tell me who becomes the season changer for the Saints. Is it Spencer Rattler taking command, Trey Palmer breaking games with speed, Talis Fuaga locking the edge, or Julian Blackmon turning the ball over in big moments? Drop your pick in the comments, tap like if you are riding with the black and gold, and hit subscribe so you never miss the next breakdown.